Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian. I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here on the west coast of Canada, also known as the Garden City. I hope everybody has had a super week so far, and I hope you're getting ready for a great weekend. And in this live class, everyone, we are focusing on Band 9 level speaking, so that expert top level speaking. And we will target part 1, which is the first part of the IELTS speaking interview that concentrates questions about you. And in this particular case, we will look at questions that focus about you and your computer or computer use. Today is the 31st of March, last day of March. Looking forward to a good April. This lesson, everyone, is presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS. Check us out there. For the general IELTS, visit us at gieltshelp.com. Welcome, Christine. Hi, Hun. Good to see our members joining in. Welcome, Tatiana. Hi, Saeed, Jenny. Nice to see our chat moderator with us this morning. For me, Carolina. Students, our websites, they look like this. This is our academic IELTS website here with the blue background. You can click the big red button right there to join our premium IELTS package. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access, and you can use the discount code PERFECT9, because of course that's what everybody wants, is a perfect 9, and that will give you a 20% discount. This is coming from our latest IELTS speaking interview sample release on the YouTube channel, so if you haven't seen that video yet, check it out. For the general IELTS, it's gieltshelp.com, and you can click this big red button there to get our premium package. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. We are an official British Council IELTS test registration center and certified agents, so you are in great hands with us. Again, that discount code is PERFECT9 for that 20% discount. And of course, you can also get our courses through our apps. So our academic IELTS app is Academic IELTS Help. And for the general IELTS, it's General IELTS Help. The apps will link to their respective websites so that you can learn on the go. And you can also hang out with us through Instagram, IELTS_AEHelp and GIELTS Help. So lots of ways to get some IELTS learning, vocabulary, communication tips, even some fun videos. And if you have questions, feel free to send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com. And of course on Amazon, I rarely say this these days, but on Amazon you can get our exam books in a hard copy, physical form. And if you're doing the paper-based exam, that could be a good idea. So you can always search Amazon for AE Help's Academic IELTS and GE Help's General IELTS. All right, students, so we've got some classes coming up over the next few days. We've got speaking part 1 right now, and then we'll have reading and listening tomorrow. We started a listening last week. We'll finish that. And then we've got speaking part 2 and part 3 on Saturday. So we've got quite a 4 more classes after this one for live classes. So make sure to join us for that. But for now, let's get into IELTS speaking part 1. So IELTS speaking part 1, again, questions about you. So for the speaking interview, you will have 12 minutes with the examiner. The first 5 minutes will be part 1. The examiner will introduce him or herself. they will say, welcome to the speaking portion of the IELTS exam. My name is Adrian. I will be your examiner for this part of the test. It has 3 parts. I will give you instructions for each. I'm recording this for clerical purposes. This is candidate number 2345765 and examiner number 5768. We shall now begin. For part 1, I will ask you a couple of questions to get to know you better and some questions on a general topic. Now, your IELTS speaking interview, everybody, it is not an English as a second language exam. So here are a couple of important points to keep in mind, okay? So the speaking interview is not an ESL exam. What do I mean by that? Okay, so why am I telling you that right now? What's the logic behind that? Any ideas? So Rashika, Andri, Amrit, welcome to this class. Some more of our members. Hi, Simran, Ali, and Babur. Komal, nice to see so many of you here. So just before we get into the questions, I really want to emphasize this to you because I think, you know, IELTS candidates will often forget this, that the speaking interview is not an ESL exam. In fact, all of IELTS is not an English as a second language exam. So in TOEFL, they say test of English as a foreign language, but in IELTS, they don't say that. They say International English Language Testing System. They don't say that. Saeed says, because you should be as natural as possible when talking. Yeah, Tatiana, very good. Tatiana says, because the examiner will not adapt their language to the examiner's level. Exactly, Tatiana. That's a very nice way to say it. Yeah, because the examiner will not adapt to the level of the candidate. Basically, all candidates, another way to say it, Tatiana, right, is all candidates are treated as a fluent native English speaker. So that means that the examiner will talk at a natural pace, they will use their natural speaking style, and they will go through the interview as if they're talking to a high school graduate in Canada or the US or the UK, because not only international second language speakers take the IELTS, but native speakers will also take the IELTS as well. Okay, so it's a native test of English proficiency, all right? So you have to be natural, you're right, Saeed. You have to be natural, you have to be fluent, you have to be professional, okay? So you have to be natural, fluent, and professional from start to finish. Okay, that's your goal, right? In today's world, so many people speak English that unfortunately the excuse of, well, sorry, English is not my first language is less and less accepted as an excuse for not being able to perform tasks using English, okay? So English is so widespread now, it is so strongly the international language of communication that simply telling people, well, I'm sorry, it's not my first language, people just don't really care much. I know that sounds brutal to say that, but that's just the way it is, okay? And a lot of people who have English as their first language aren't necessarily very good communicators in English, so keep that in mind. Okay, well, without further ado, let's get into it. So let's go through some questions and let's focus on improving communication and language in English. So the first question the examiner will always ask you is, may I see your identification? They will always look to see your identification that you use to register for your test and that you use to check in for the exam. Okay. Yeah, so Amrit says examiner is not asking, does not ask about mistakes from the test makers, like why did you make that mistake? That's right, they just judge you basically, right, Amrit? They're not just looking for English. The other reason here is they're not just looking for English, but they're also looking for communication skills. Okay. All right. Yeah, Saeed, you could use that in context if it's used correctly, for sure. Okay, so first question, may I see your identification? This is right away where you want to show fluency and confidence. So you want to answer by saying something like, yes, gladly. Here is my passport that I had used to register and that I showed 20 minutes ago to the administrators for check-in. Right? There's another way to say it. So I bet we could come up with a new way to respond to this question every single time to sound natural, okay? So may I see your identification? Yes, gladly. Here's my passport that I used to register and that I showed 20 minutes ago to the administration for check-in. Please have a look. That kind of puts the examiner's mind at ease too. They're like, okay, this person knows the procedure. That's fine, all right? Now, there are a lot of positives with this answer because right away, you're using past perfect, had used. Okay. You're using a compound sentence with and. You're showing quantitative language 20 minutes ago. Okay. And you're using lots of great vocabulary as well, like administrators. So there's just a lot of nice features right away to this kind of a response. With this response, the examiner is probably like, hey, that's a pretty good communication level right there. All right, so just repeat after me, okay? Make sure to speak and repeat, everyone. So speak plus repeat, okay? It's really important in these classes that you're not just listening to me, but you're also speaking and repeating. You're copying what I'm saying, okay? So one more time, let's do this. May I see your identification? Yes, gladly. Here's my passport that I used to register and that I showed 20 minutes ago to the administrators for check-in. Please have a look. Okay, good. Amrit says, yes, sure, here's my passport, which I used to register for this exam. Please have a look. Don't forget the for, Amrit. Yes, Saeed, it is okay to use as hell. Like you could say it's hot as hell in my city during the summer, which is an expression. So Saeed, if you're using it correctly, you can use that. Just make sure to stay professional, okay? All right. Okay. Swati, for your speaking exam tomorrow, I've got lots of tips coming up for you in this class, so just keep focused. Okay, the next question the examiner will ask you is, what is your full name? So what is your full name? You want to give a complete answer here, okay? Again, be original, sound confident, give a fluent answer, okay? Don't overspeak, but give a fluent answer. Gurpreet says, my given name is Gurpreet and my family name is Singh. Please call me by my given name. Very nice. So I will call you Gurpreet, right? Tell them what you want to be called, okay? Because that's their next question. So you could say my given name is Andy and my family name is Larson. Please just call me by my first name, Andy. Okay, so again, repeat after me. What is your full name? My given name is Andy and my family name is Larson. Please just call me by my first name, Andy. Okay, all right, so keep it simple. Don't overspeak, but be fluent. Don't just say, I'm Andy Larson, and then look at the examiner. It's like, okay, Andy, so what should I call you? All right, so full sentences. Okay. Amrit says, my whole name is Amrit Paul Singh. Please call me by my first name, Amrit. It sounds like Amrit is short for Amrit Paul. You can just say, please call me Amrit for short. Okay, Amrit? If your name is Amrit Paul as one name, Amrit is a short version of that first name. Okay? All right. And then the examiner will go on to the speaking part one questions very naturally, very quickly. They'll go right into it. Usually they have one or two kind of icebreaker questions that are asked to make you feel comfortable, confident. So that's what should happen, okay? You should go in there feeling confident, okay? You're there to do one job only. It's just to communicate well, all right? Don't freak out. Just be yourself and do your best. So, what do you usually do in the mornings? Okay, so again, give me a nice full sentence answer. Don't overcomplicate, okay? So do not overcomplicate your answer. Just think of what most people would say and keep it clear. Okay? So if somebody asked me just randomly, what do I do in the morning? I would say something like, well, I get up at 6 a.m. And I head straight for the shower. Then I brush my teeth and have a bowl of cereal before going off to work. Okay, and the question says what you usually do. So always use the question in your answer. Well, most often, especially during the weekdays. Okay, so reflecting that part of the question, usually, all right? Okay, again, repeat after me. Well, most often, especially during the weekdays, I get up at 6 a.m. and I head straight for the shower. Then I brush my teeth and I have a bowl of cereal before going off to work. That's it. I don't go into more details. I don't tell them what kind of cereal I have, or I don't start listing other activities that I do. Instead, I focus on connecting my ideas. So notice how this is almost just one big fluid sentence, okay? All right, and it's got a bit of idiomatic language here as well. So I head straight for, okay, means I go directly. Okay, just your head, you head straight for, right? So you head directly to the shower, okay? Again, nice natural response, fluid, not over speaking, not over complicating, right? What do we usually do? We get up, there's a time that we get up, We brush our teeth, maybe we have a shower, maybe we don't, we have breakfast, we get dressed, right? And then we go to work or we go to school. That's our most common response. All right, Rashika says, let's take a look at what a couple of our viewers are saying for this question. So Rashika says, regularly I wake up early in the morning at around 5 a.m. and take a quick shower. After I prepare breakfast for the family. Okay, Rashika, take a pause after, okay? A comma there, right? So regularly I wake up early in the morning at around 5 a.m. and take a quick shower after I prepare breakfast for the family. Okay, good. Yeah, Rashika, and that's enough, all right? Tatiana has a little bit of a longer answer. Let's see what Tatiana's come up with. Okay, Tatiana says, I wake up at 6:30 and spend the next half an hour to get out of bed. While I'm still in bed, I check the news feed, then I get up, make my bed, have a glass of water, and make myself do morning exercises for about 20 minutes before having a shower, breakfast, and getting dressed for work. Yeah, very good. Tatiana, just remember, because it's something you do usually every day, you use the present tense to show the general action that you do yesterday, today, tomorrow. So make sure that you use the verb get, not got. Okay, so I get up, make my bed, have a glass of water. So it's all kind of present tense, right? Because we do this regularly, so pay attention to that. Okay? All right. It's not too long. So Ishan says, Tatiana, it is too long. It's not too long as you say it fluently. So you can't get stuck saying this response. As long as you're fluent, it's fine. So again, I wake up at 6:30 and spend the next 30 minutes to get out of bed. While I'm still in bed, I check the news feed. I get up, make my bed, have a glass of water, make myself do morning exercises for about 20 minutes before having a shower, breakfast, and getting dressed for work. It's fine. You just have to be really fluent if you give an answer like that, okay? They won't interrupt you. If you're not fluent, if you get stuck halfway through, you might get interrupted. So you want to check that before you go to the exam. All right, and then the next question is, and what do you like to do on the weekend? If you're taking IELTS in the US or Canada, you'll hear on the weekend. If you're taking it in Australia or the UK, you'll probably hear at the weekend. Same thing. So what do you like to do at the weekend? Okay, so then I would say something like, well, I like to sleep in on Saturdays and Sundays. So I get up around 7:30 and then I watch TV for a bit before having a shower and making some bacon and eggs. Okay, so that would be my answer. Be visual, okay? Use visual language. You can probably see me just chilling out, laying in bed, watching TV, and then getting up, having a shower, and making bacon and eggs, okay? So be visual, be specific with your answers. That's how you get those high marks. So notice how during the weekdays, I have just a light, quick breakfast cereal, but on the weekends, I spoil myself a bit. I have bacon and eggs, right? Okay. So, let's see. Saeed is giving us a nice answer here. Let's check that out. Okay. And Saeed says, since I usually have pretty busy weeks, on weekends I always try to rest as much as possible. On Saturdays, I usually hang out somewhere with my friends, play badminton with my sister at our local park. On Sundays, however, I tend to spend my time with my family. We usually go to the grocery store to buy some products for the new week, or we tend to watch some kind of movie together. Yeah, it's pretty good, Saeed. As long as you're fluent, you're doing okay. Always pay attention, students, to not give contradictory or conflicting information. So, Saeed, you have a pretty good answer here, but for me, there's a little bit of conflict in the logic. And again, remember what I said at the beginning, and this is not an ESL test, so they are looking at the logic of your answers, okay? Here, Saeed, you are saying that on Saturdays you play badminton with your sister, okay? And then you say that on Sundays you spend, however, on Sundays you spend time with your family. It's a bit awkward because it sounds like you're spending time with your family on Saturdays as well. Your sister is your family, so it's like, why did you use the word however? So this word for me here is a bit confusing in our communication. And I guess that you mean like you spend time with your parents and all of your siblings together, but then you need to say that clearly, okay? So be really careful, especially if you know you have good English. Pay really careful attention to the logic of your information, okay? All right, the examiner does catch those kinds of details, okay? Yeah, and Saeed says, I meant my parents. And I know you meant that, but that's what you need to say then, Saeed, is, however, I spend time with my parents, okay? So I always use the specific nouns, students, specific nouns. Amrit, thank you for the super chat donation. Okay, and then the examiner goes on to introduce the topic of part one. So they'll say, let's talk about computers. Okay, and they'll ask you, how often do you use a computer? Okay, so here again, full sentence, think qualitative and quantitative. So think qualitative and quantitative. Okay, so for example, you might say often, and you might say 5 hours each day. Okay, so often is qualitative. All right, so you've got qualitative language there, often. And often is different for different people, so we quantify. So quantitative language is like 5 hours each day. And then, of course, you put that all into a sentence. And then you explain it and you give an example, right? So I often use my PC. I would say at least an average of 5 hours a day, because I am a data analyst for a big logistics company. In fact, I was staring at the screen all day yesterday at my work, trying to figure out some raw data. Okay, just coming up with it. It's made up. I'm not actually a data analyst, but you know, you don't have to tell the truth for IELTS. Okay, so quantitative, qualitative, especially for this type of question, how often, okay? Now, instead of often, let's try to paraphrase, okay? So let's use the word frequently. The more you paraphrase, the more points you get, the higher your band score, okay? And so how often do you use a computer? I frequently use my PC. I would say at least an average of 5 hours a day because I'm a data analyst for a big logistics company. In fact, I was staring at the screen all day yesterday at my work, trying to figure out some raw data. Ooh, okay. Sounds good. Okay. GSP says, I frequently use my laptop 5 hours per day. I use it not only for education, but also for entertainment purposes. Like yesterday, I spent 2 hours watching the film Moon Knight. Okay, that works, yeah. I love the use of not only, but also GSP, so it's a nice use of the correlative conjunction. All right, Wonder Boy says, to be honest with you, due to being a big fan of working with computers, I cannot spend my day without using a computer. I mean, I do any activity, for example, my school home tasks with my computer. A lot of language, but it's a bit unclear, Wonder Boy, like it's a bit all over the place. You want to be more direct. Okay, so be direct on the IELTS exam, everyone. Let's do a bit of verbal practice of the speaking, and then you'll get an even better idea of what different band scores sound like and what you need to do. Okay, so I'm going to interview some of our viewers right now. Again, remember everybody, on our website you can use the code PERFECT9 for that 20% discount. Okay. And right now we're going to do some volunteer speaking here, and you'll be able to talk to me, okay? And I will be able to ask you questions just like the examiner. So the steps here are: go to the website where you can use that discount code, aehelp.com, okay? Log into your My Student account, and then click on Student Partner Speaking. Once you're there, there's a very good chance, if it's the first time, that you have to enable your microphone and your speaker, okay? A good way to do this is test your system. So there are so many different systems around the world, different types of connections, devices, operating systems. So you want to test this out with some other students, and then message me. You will see me as master in the list, and there will be a blue envelope there, and then just message me, say I want to volunteer, and wait for me to ping you. So wait for me to ask if you're ready to do this. Okay, so again, let me show you what I mean. You go to the website, you can go to this one, the general IELTS one, or you can go to this one, the blue one. Okay, you can buy the full course, or you can try it by clicking the green button. And then you click this My Student account. If you're logging in, should log you in automatically the first time. And then you have this Student Partner Speaking right there. If you want to book a full IELTS speaking interview with me at some time, it's a good idea to do that before your test. I recommend doing it at least a couple weeks before your test so that you can still practice the tips and improvements, so that you can do that with the speaking interview practice. But right now, we're clicking on the Student Partner Speaking, okay? And then click You Accept. That's our disclaimer, that you are polite, you accept responsibility for what you say. And then you get into our speaking interface on the website. So you can see we have Harmanpreet, Jimmy, Harjot, Amrit, Saeed, Duyan, Hesti, Football, Kirol, Asan, Tatiana, Mohammed, Ishan. So we've got lots of people here volunteering, and then you'll see me as master. So see here at the very bottom, it says you, master. So message me, click on the little blue envelope and say, hey, I'd like to volunteer, and then I can chat with you, okay? So let's see if I can catch Mohammed here from the bottom of the group. Okay, are you ready? And then I'm going to always kind of reach out to you to make sure that you are able to connect, and to make sure that you're still there. You haven't left for a cup of coffee, or you haven't run off to work or off to bed if it's late in your country. So I will always message you, and then once you see my message, like right now I'm messaging Mohammed, then please reply to my message. So just write yes, I'm ready. Okay. If I don't see a reply within a few seconds, then I'll go to the next person. Okay, so Mohammed is ready. So I'm going to call Mohammed here. And again, students, make sure to enable your microphone and your speaker. Okay. So I'm just calling Mohammed. I'm not sure if Mohammed's not able to pick up or what's going on. Please do not use this while you're driving. Okay. Hi, Mohammed. Are you there? I hear that you picked up, but I don't hear your voice. All right. Mohammed's calling me back. Let's try to see if I can get him this way. Hi, Mohammed. Mohammed, I can't hear you, but test the system with another student and see what happens, okay? All right. And I'm going to move on to another person. Let me just call Tatiana here. I think Tatiana will be ready. Maybe I'm wrong.
Hello.
Hi, Tatiana.
Hi. How are you today?
I'm doing good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm okay, thanks for asking.
All right. I did not message you this time. I just kind of clicked and called and maybe
That's
surprised
right.
you a little bit.
Let's not waste our precious time.
Right. Okay, Tatiana, so thank you for volunteering. Let me go back to the syllabus here. So I'm going to ask you some part 1 questions. Tatiana, may I ask, when are you planning to do the IELTS exam?
Oh, it's a big question because IELTS stopped testing candidates in Russia, so I have to save up quite a big sum to go to the neighboring country and stay there for a few days. And
Yeah.
as soon as I'm ready, I will.
Yeah, that's a very common situation with a lot of people. So we do have students and clients in Russia, and that's what's happened now in Russia is that Russian students, of course, and people are having to go to other countries outside of Russia to do the IELTS exam. So I know it's quite a challenge, and yeah, the world is so connected. I think a lot of people don't realize that, but I don't want to get too much into politics. So it affects everybody, right?
Of course.
So let's just get into
so
some questions.
I'm not pressed for time. I think I will take it as soon as I'm ready, as soon as I feel that I can get solid 8.
A solid 8. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's great. Okay, Tatiana, well, let me get into it. So I'm just going to start from the top just like the real IELTS exam, okay? So welcome to the speaking portion of the IELTS exam. My name is Adrian. I will be your examiner. May I see your identification?
Yes, of course. Here you are. This is my passport that I used a few weeks ago while registering for the exam. Please have a look at my credentials.
Thank you. And for part 1, I will ask you a couple of questions to get to know you better and some questions on a general topic. What do you do at the weekends?
At the weekends, I usually have a lie-in till 9, and then I enjoy a long walk in the nearby park. And after that, I either go to the gym and spend a few hours there, or I just do usual household routines such as cleaning my apartment, cooking, doing laundry.
Let's talk about computers. How often do you use a computer?
I use a computer basically every day because I work on a computer for about 6 to 10 hours every day. Also, I use it for studying at weekends if I have time. And of course, I use a computer very frequently for entertaining. I watch series or
What do you use your computer
programs.
for?
As I said, I use it basically for working. Besides, I use it for entertaining
Okay, I'm going to
because I
stop you there.
watch series.
All right, I'm going to stop you there, Tatiana. So you're on a roll. Okay, not bad. So that would be about a band 7.5. No, I'd say it's closer to a 7.5. Maybe a 7. Maybe some examiners might give you a 7, but I think like 6 out of 10 would give you a 7.5. 4 out of 10 maybe a 7. Okay, this band score can move about half a band. Depending on the examiner, right? It's very hard for every examiner to find the exact same score. But you're about a 7 to a 7.5. Let's say that, okay? Okay, so you're doing, some parts of your speech and your communication are really good. So you're giving a full answer, you're answering the question quite accurately, and you're giving a good amount of detail. However, you have some slight grammatical mistakes, some language oddities. Like you said, I use a computer, of course, for entertaining. That means that you show pictures to your friends on your computer. You entertain them, okay? But if you yourself are
Entertaining myself.
by the computer, then you have to use the noun. So I use a computer, of course, for entertainment instead of entertaining. You can say entertaining, but then you have, yeah, but then if you say for entertaining myself is okay, but it's a bit unnatural. So most high level speakers of English would say I use a computer for entertainment.
Entertainment. Okay.
Right? So those kinds of slight language oddities you can correct by just doing a lot of feedback on your speaking. So recording your speech, listening to it, asking the opinion of course, professionals, and then getting feedback, making corrections. A lot of times software can really help you with that too. So if you take like the speech and you transcribe it, so you write it down, or Google can actually transcribe it now for you as well, and then you put it into Grammarly, it will most likely highlight this word for you and say, I think what you mean is entertainment. So even software like Microsoft Word or Grammarly are so intelligent now that they can often pick out
it's an interesting, useful program.
Okay, yeah. So transcribe what you've said,
check
and
with
then
Grammarly.
check it with Grammarly, and Grammarly will say, hey, this would be a little bit better. Okay, so that's one. The other is so that's the language part. The communication part, to improve to that band 8, 8.5, because I think you can get to that band 8, 8.5 quite quickly. The other element is to go into more detail about the points that you give rather than giving lots of points. So for this question, for instance, like you said, I use a computer basically every day because I work on a computer 6 to 10 hours every day. And then you kind of said another piece of information and then another piece of information. And I started to feel like I have to interrupt you now because I feel like there's just more and more pieces of information coming. So instead of that, try to give
an
less
example.
Pieces of information and more details with information. So I would use something like, I use a computer basically every day because I work on a computer.
And then see what I'm doing.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. 6 to 10 hours. What do you do?
I teach English.
Okay, so because I work on a computer 6 to 10 hours teaching English. Yeah.
Giving lessons.
Exactly. Do you give lessons online?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Mostly.
Okay, giving lessons online. Okay, very good. All right. Yesterday, I had a dozen private classes. Okay, so just like that, all right? And that really gives me a clear idea. So
It's too many.
I know, but it's just maybe they're short 30-minute classes. I don't know. But it doesn't matter. The examiner is not going to be like, really, a dozen? It just shows that you're working a lot on the computer. So, so more detail, more in-depth answers get higher band scores. Okay, and a lot of
Yeah, I got it.
IELTS candidates do this when I interview them. They kind of, like I say, what is your hobby? And then they're like, well, I like tennis, I like basketball, I also like to go for walks, and then I also, and it's like they start just listing off like 20 different hobbies, and it's kind of like, okay, can we just like stick to two and give me
Yeah,
more
stick
details?
to one idea and elaborate on it.
Exactly. So let's just try this one, okay? I'm just going to give the answer, just repeat after me. So I use a computer basically every day because I work on a computer 6 to 10 hours teaching English, giving lessons online. Yesterday I had a dozen private classes. How often do you use a computer?
I use a computer basically every day because I work on a computer from 6 to 10 hours every day teaching English, giving lessons online. And yesterday I had a dozen of private classes.
Much better. Okay, much better. So that's the in-depth answer. Okay, so Tatiana, keep up the good studies and really focus on those 2 points. Okay, so
Yeah, I
adjusting
remembered all
those,
your advice.
yeah, those slight mistakes and in-depth answers. Thank you so
Yeah,
much
I
for
will. Thank you.
volunteering. Okay, have a great day. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so that was Tatiana. That was really good. All right. Okay, so that's about a 775. So a 775 band on IELTS is what is considered a good to very good user of the English language. Okay, so 7 is a good user. 8 is a very good user. So 7.5 is a good to very good user of the English language. All right. Let's see. Du Yin is here, and I think Du Yin has volunteered before. So let's try Du Yin. And then we'll look for some new voices as well. So I encourage everybody to volunteer. Okay. So Du Yin, are you ready? Du Yin, if I remember correctly, is in Vietnam. So hopefully we can catch her a little bit here. And thank you for the support, students. I can see some thumbs up for Tatiana and some claps. That's great. All right. Dian says me. Yeah, Dian, you. Yes. Hi, Dian. Dian, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
How are you?
Oh, well, because in Vietnam, there are considered weather hot. It's because it's raining outside.
It's raining outside.
Yes.
All right. But you're inside, you're staying dry, I hope. I think we have a little bit of lag between us, Dian, but that's okay. We're going to try a question here. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, Duin. So here we go. What do you use your computer for?
Yes, I would definitely say that I use the pen on for long day using my laptop for doing my assignment or preparing a topic presentation at university. Of course, I need to have a spare time to nest for a little time because as far as I know, using laptop too much time for have having have influence on my eyes. It will on red my eye. Yet today I use my laptop for doing assignment on presentation or interpreter.
Okay. All right. So that would be about a band 5, I would say, Duyin, for that response. Okay. For a couple of reasons. So looking at the English elements, so looking at the grammar range vocabulary, you have some awkward use of vocabulary and grammar, which makes your response confusing. So some of your answer I can understand, and I would say about 30% of your response I'm unclear. So I'm not exactly sure what you are telling me, okay? Your pronunciation is also slightly interfering with comprehension, so I'm having a little bit of difficulty understanding what you're saying. Okay. Now, as far as the fluency and the coherence, your fluency is okay. You're speaking quite fluently, but some of what you're saying is not making too much sense, and it is because you're introducing answers that are not for this question. So I asked you what you use this computer for, and there's a point where you say that using a laptop for a long time has a bad influence on your eyes. But I don't really ask you for any negative parts of using a computer. So it's kind of strange to suddenly include that. So again, you want to really focus on just answering the question, okay, more directly. So you'd say something like, I use my laptop for learning and school purposes mostly. I write essays for my classes and give presentations. Yesterday, I gave a presentation in my interpreter class about the importance of semantics. Okay, so just like that, don't overspeak, okay? Focus just on the question, nothing else. So don't say anything about bad parts of using a laptop or anything off topic, okay? So really just focus on concise, clear answers. Let me ask this question again, give you the answer, and then repeat after me, okay? All right, here we go. So what do you use your computer for? I use my laptop for learning and school purposes mostly. I write essays for my classes and give presentations. Yesterday I gave a presentation in my interpreter class about the importance of semantics. What do you use your computer for?
Well, I use my laptop for learning and school purposes mostly. I write essays for my classes and give presentations. Yet today, I gave a presentation in my interpreter class about the importance of semantics.
Yes, semantics.
Yes.
The intended meaning of words, yes. Okay, so Duyin, again, keep it shorter, keep it focused on the question only, all right? And if you need a moment to collect your thoughts, to give a clear answer, just say that. So say, okay, well, give me a moment. I use my laptop for learning. So start the answer slower so that you can create clarity, okay?
Yes.
All right. Okay, Duyin, keep it up, keep studying, and do a lot of what I said to Tatiana as well, a lot of feedback practice where you're recording your speech and then listening back to your speech, okay? So lots and lots of feedback practice, okay?
Yes, thank teacher.
You're very welcome. Have a great rest of your day, Duyin, and stay dry, okay?
Yes.
Okay, bye. All right, that was Duyin. Give Duyin a thumbs up. So I know it takes a lot of bravery to volunteer. So it's important to support each other, everyone. Ishan, let's see if Ishan is still here. So Ishan, are you ready? Let's keep moving along nice and steady, everyone. So we've heard a band 7 to 7.5, and now we've heard about a band 5. Band 5 is just under fluent. user of the English language. Okay, so Ishan, if you are still with us, just send me a message, say, yes, I'm ready to go. And then I will ask you a question, just like I asked from Tatiana and Duan, but a little bit later on in the list. Okay. And if you're not with us, Ishan, that's not the end of the world. We'll find somebody else. Ooh, we've had lots of students join in since then. Okay, I don't think Ishan is here. Let's try Amrit. Amrit says, can I speak? Yes, sure. Are you ready, Amrit? Okay. I want to maximize our time here, so pay attention, students, when we're in the chat. And here we go. Amrit is ready. Okay.
Hello.
Hi, Amrit. How are you?
I'm fine. And what about you?
I'm doing okay. You're sounding a little bit robotic. I think our connection isn't great yet. All right,
Okay.
Amrit. So I'm going to ask you speaking part one question. Are you ready?
Yes, sir. I'm
Okay.
ready.
Now you're sounding crystal clear. Here we go. Where do you store your computer?
I store my personal computer in my study room. It's really comfortable for me. Whenever I study alone, I get information related to my study on the internet. And even yesterday, I had done my presentation on my personal computer.
Do you let others use your computer?
Yes, definitely, because I am a socialized, and even my lot of friends are came to my home, and they play a lot of video games like PUBG or Free Fire, and I on even yesterday I played PUBG with my friend, and I spent 1 hour.
Okay. All right. So that would be about a band 7, Amrit. 6.5 to 7. And I think you could make it a lot better. I think you could easily get a 7.5 to even an 8, Amrit. But you, again, have to, just change a couple of parts of your communication. And I think the key word of the day so far, listening to you and the previous 2 volunteers, is answer the question. And not just with the answer, Amrit, but also answer the question with your explanation and your example. Okay?
Okay, sir.
So I asked you, where do you store your computer? And I think that you focused on speed more than on accuracy. So you were really fluent and you were really fast, almost too fast. Like I was like, okay, why are you speaking so fast? You need to focus more on accuracy. Okay. So this is kind of an
Okay, sir.
important tip for everybody. Do not sacrifice accuracy for speed. It's not a good idea. Okay, accuracy is more important than speed.
Okay, sir. Even I lost my cohesion marks.
You lose your cohesion marks if you're not accurate. You don't lose your cohesion marks for speed. So let me show you what I mean. So I asked you, where do you store your computer? And you said, I store my personal computer. What's another way to say store?
Keep.
Yeah, exactly. So instead of saying I store, you could have said I keep my computer. The more you paraphrase, the more band scores you're going to get, not only because of lexical resource, but good paraphrasing also leads to really good coherence. So I keep my personal computer in my study room. And then you said, it's really comfortable for me. And with your explanation, you started to kind of go off topic with your answer already, or it wasn't specific. Why do you store your personal computer in your study room?
um, because it's comfortable or
Why is it comfortable?
like a good view of like outside the window.
All right. So that's a unique answer, and I get you. Okay, you have so you like to look out the window while you're using your computer, but it's probably comfortable for you because you have a desk there, you have privacy there. Others don't
Okay,
disrupt
okay.
you when you're using it there, right? So try to keep your answers simple and logical, right? So it's really comfortable for me to use it in privacy without my family disrupting me. Um, okay.
Okay, sir.
And I have a great chair and table. Okay, so and then so you want to again stay on topic, right? And then you said even yesterday I have done my presentation on my personal computer. That example has no connection to where you store your computer. Okay, so instead of that, you need to give an example that is directly related to your answer and your explanation. So I haven't like something like this. I haven't actually taken my laptop out of my room for the last week. Okay, so now I'm like really reassured that if I go to Amrit's house, I will find Amrit's computer in Amrit's room. Okay, so
Yes,
I
sir.
keep my personal computer in my study room. It's really comfortable for me to use it in privacy without my family disturbing me. Not disrupting, disturbing is a better word. Disturbing me, and I have a great chair and table. I haven't actually taken my laptop out of my room for the last week. Okay, now all of the parts of that answer, explanation, example are focusing on the question. So let's try this one more time. I'm going to say the question answer, just repeat after me. Where do you store your computer? I keep my personal computer in my study room. It's really comfortable for me to use it in privacy without my family disturbing me, and I have a great chair and a table. I haven't actually taken my laptop out of my room for the last week. So, where do you store your computer?
I keep my personal computer in my study room. It's really comfortable for me to use it in privacy without my family disturbing me. And I have a great chair and table. And even actually taken my laptop out of my room for the last week.
Okay, notice how that answer is so much more direct to the question, right?
Okay, sir.
Okay, so that's what you want to do. Do you let others use your computer? Yes, definitely, because I'm a socialize. It's not because I'm a socialize, because I'm a social. Keep it simpler, okay? Correct grammar there, social. So, yes,
Okay.
definitely, because I'm a social person. Um, and a lot of my friends, no even, okay, that's awkward. And a lot of my friends come to my home and they play a lot of video games on my computer, okay, like
Okay,
PUBG
sir.
or Free Fire. I couldn't catch that second one. Like, yeah, and then you said like yesterday I played PUBG with my friend and spent an hour. Again, that wasn't clear and direct. Like yesterday, my friend, not I, but my friend played an hour of PUBG on my laptop. In my study room, because you just told me your laptop hasn't left your study room in a week, right? So now all of the answer is direct and clear, okay? Let me repeat this again and then you can copy. So do you let others use your computer? Yes, definitely, because I'm a social person and a lot of my friends come to my home and they play a lot of video games on my computer like PUBG or Free Fire. Like yesterday, my friend played an hour of PUBG on my laptop in my study room. Do you let others use your computer?
Yes, definitely. Because I am a social person, and a lot of my friends came to my home and they play a lot of video games on my computer, like PUBG or Free Fire. Like yesterday, my friend played an hour for PUBG on my laptop in my study room.
Okay. So Amrit, the key word here is answer the question directly, not just in the first part, but all the way to the end. So all the way to the example, you have to keep focused on the question that you're being asked, okay?
Okay, sir, may I ask one question?
Yeah.
In introduction questions, can we put example in every question?
Almost, yeah. So so in part one, you mean? I probably maybe wouldn't do an example for every single question in part one, but at least for 50% of them I would, yeah, to give it clarity, because they're always about you, so you might as well to make it clear, right? So I would say about 50% of part one and even 50% of part three questions, it's a really good idea to include an example, okay, a smooth example.
Okay, sir.
All right. Okay, Amrit, thank you so much for volunteering. Thanks for the super chat donation again today, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your night.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much
All
for
right.
giving me a nice chance.
Bye, Amrit.
Bye, bye, sir.
Okay, so that was Amrit. Okay, so we've heard everything from a band 5 to a 7.5 today. Students, that's all the time I have right now. But I encourage you to keep practicing with each other. So you can see that there's a lot of people in here, and you have a few more questions to go on this part one. So you have a present perfect and a conditional. So has the way you use a computer changed in the last 10 years? And if you could upgrade your computer, what would you change? A couple of fun questions. Maybe try that with each other on the chat interface. Okay, let me show you the questions here again. So you can see them here. All right, this is one here. Has the way you use a computer changed in the last 10 years? And if you could upgrade your computer, what would you change? So try those questions from each other. Thank you so much, members and viewers, for being here with me today. You're all amazing. Make sure to come back tomorrow for some reading for members, and we'll have some listening part 3 and 4 for everybody. So some useful classes coming up tomorrow. And again, remember to visit us at aehelp.com for academic IELTS and gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. Use the discount code PERFECT9 to get that 20% discount off of our premium package. Thanks a lot again, everyone. Have a lovely, lovely rest of your day. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from Victoria for now. Goodbye, everyone.